Now let us look at the conditions associated with the endocrine system. So this is the last system that we are going to look at. But before we go on to the conditions, let's look at the brief overview of the endocrine system. So this session introduced students to the last organ system of the endocrine, and then the session covers structure and function of the various organs that form the system, and the physical assessment relevant to the system will be discussed. And so at the end, it is expected that the student should be able to describe the structure and function of the endocrine system, identify individuals experiencing clinical manifestations of diseases associated with the endocrine system, and then demonstrate examination of the thyroid gland, and then describe the nursing management for patients with these conditions. So we'll be looking at brief overview of the anatomy and physiology, health assessment, and then diagnostic investigations in this session. But here we are not going to spend so much time, because I know we have done an assessment and under NEST 231, and where we have looked at anatomy and the physiology. We also specifically look at health assessment, and then we have also looked at the diagnostic investigation. So we are just going to flip through the slides, and then just note some major points. And so the major endocrine organs that we are going to look at, we have the pituitary gland, thyroid, parathyroid, and adrenal glands, pancreas, and then the gonadals. These are the reproductive glands, and then they produce special chemical substances called hormones, which they secrete into the blood circulation, and then they are therefore called organs of internal secretion. And so the endocrine system is essential regulator of the body's internal environment through hormone secreted by its glands. The endocrine system is able to regulate varied functions such as growth, we have reproduction, metabolism, fluid, and then electrolyte balance, and then sex differentiation. It also assists the body in adapting to constant alterations in the internal and external environment. And so it, in some terms, we are talking about how it regulates body's responses to stress. I want you to look at the other functions of the endocrine systems and then read. Now, the health assessment, as part of the health assessment, we need to look at the subjective data, and then also objective data, and then examples of health assessment interview to determine problems with endocrine systems may be done as part of the health screening or total health assessment, or it may also focus on chief complaints. And here what we are saying is that it's based on the patient's chief complaints, and also based on the health assessment by the clinician. As example is increased urination, for instance, excessive thirst, and if the client has a problem with endocrine function, the nurse analyzes its onset characteristics and then cause severity, precipitating factors, and then relieving factors, and also other factors that we can think about. And so physical assessment is based on the specific organ that we have in question. And so, for instance, during skin inspection, for example, we can look at the hyperpigmentation which may be seen in clients with Addison disease or Cushing's syndrome. We need to palpate the skin and then assess the texture, which we have already done in skin assessment, hair, and then nail and assessment. And then we can look at the face, inspect the symmetry, and then form of the face, and then inspect the position of the eye, and then we have variations of forms and the structure which may indicate growth abnormalities such as acromegaly, esophagus, and then others like hyperthyroidism. We can also do musculoskeletal structure. We have to inspect the size and portions of the body structure. Extreme short structure may indicate dwarfism, which is caused by, for instance, insufficient growth hormone. And then extreme large bones may also indicate acromegaly, which is caused by excessive growth hormone. So it depends. And then we can also do thyroid gland, palpate the thyroid gland for size and the consistency. Read on this. And then we also need to do some kind of diagnostic investigations, which we have already done. For instance, we can check for thyroid function test T4 and then T3. We can also do thyroid scan and then thyroid biopsy. And then we can also do pituitary function test, growth hormone GH in case of growth disorder. And then adrenal function test can also be done. And these are specific things that we need to check. And these are parts of the overview and then assessment in general. So in simple terms, what we are trying to say is that for endocrine or for any other system, initial stage, what we need to do is that to be able to get a true picture of patient's problem, what we are saying is that we need to get subjective data. You have to do objective assessment, and then you confirm with the diagnostic investigations. That brings us down to the first part of the endocrine disorders.